All right, hello everybody. We're just out of an innovation talk. The talk was called Hybrid Work Offers Here and Now. Now we're going to wait for Luke and for Colin to join us here in the studio. But just before we do that, we're going to talk a little bit about the Medibus. Now the Medibus is part of the Reimagine Germany initiative. It's a bus that has a consultation room on board, a lab area, a changing room, a treatment room, a reception. And what's really great is that it's powered by 16 different solar panels, so it's really energy efficient. It's got air conditioning, and I just want to make sure we have time to actually take a look at the Medibus, right? Instead of me just telling you about it. So let's head on out to the World of Solutions. Rob, you're there, and you're with my good friend Jonathan Elton. So hello. Oh, we've just got 1 second, so let me just tell you a little bit more about the bus and then we're going to head straight back out afterwards. So the Medibus, it's actually treated 12,355 patients to date. It's visited 496 different locations. It's driven over 11,000 kilometers and 204 hours of video translation, and that's all in just 301 days. Now, if we talk a little bit about the technology that's there on board, we have collaboration technology, there's video interpreting technology, of course network management and IoT. We've heard lots of those innovations across the show this week, as well as enterprise and IoT networking. There's a powerful router on board, which helps obviously with nationwide internet access wherever the bus goes. The list goes on. I'll tell you a little bit more around Meraki. That's used for temperature monitoring and alerting. We've got telemetry and lots of data collection analysis, because the data is really what helps bring it all together and make sure that all the patients have a really great experience. And then finally, security. The bus is full-on end-to-end integrated with all of Cisco's security solutions. Right, I think now Rob and Jonathan, you are ready for us out in the World of Solutions, so show us the Medibus.
I'm absolutely ready. Let me just apologize. Steve had told me not to touch the camera, and I was like, surely I can't hurt anything. Apparently I can. All right, so we're ready. It's all good. Jonathan, is so glad to have you here. Can you tell us what you do and what's going on with this bus behind us?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everybody. I'm Jonathan Elting. I work for the Country Digital Acceleration Program here at Cisco. This is the Medibus. I'll tell you a bit about it. So this bus was first created because in Germany, in rural areas, the population there really struggles to get access to healthcare. And so we had the idea to bring the healthcare to the population in the villages there. And the best way to do that was basically put a doctor's office on wheels. And that's what you see here.
Sorry, I was going to ask you a question, and whipping the mic back and forth, but how did this get started? You guys have, there was a specific need you were looking to address in the rural areas, but quickly you were being used in providing relief in some really big operations, correct?
That's right, yeah. As is often the case, the original idea behind this didn't end up being the only way that we used it. So initially it was the crisis, or the Syrian crisis and refugees coming into Germany. More recently, of course, unfortunately, the Ukrainian crisis has brought an influx of refugees to the country, and now even one of these buses is on its way to Turkey. So it's really been used as a humanitarian aid and crisis relief.
And is it fair to say that one of the objectives here is to really create a model for both for the partnership, the communication, and just the enablement of things that are really occurring across multiple countries, companies, resources like doctors, for instance, who want to provide help but need resources to be able to execute with their art? This is the kind of way in which we play a part to do that, but we want other countries to pick this up and look at how they might use it?
Absolutely, yes. Our intention with this is that it's not a one-off. Well, there are already 7 of these buses, so we've achieved that much, but we definitely want to spread it outside of Germany. We've made some great progress on that this week, in fact, with interesting and relevant people coming to see the bus, and it's really helped that it's been here in reality for them to touch and feel and walk through.
Well, that's awesome. I wonder if you could give us a little tour through the bus, do you mind?
Love to, yeah.
Let's go do it. Absolutely.
Come on board. So this is a bus built here in the Netherlands by VDL. It's custom made for this purpose. And it's a diesel bus, unfortunately. We haven't managed to be sustainable there. However, on the roof, we have 16 solar panels, and they link up to this battery management setup here. So once the bus arrives at its destination, it will be fully sustainable for the day, and it can provide a full day of appointments to patients without any need for additional power. Of course, it's fully connected with 3G and 5G. We use our IR1800 series for this, and because we're often in rural places or places without the best connectivity, we have a dual SIM option in here, and 3G and 5G options. If those aren't available, then we also can connect via satellite, so we can always get the connectivity going. We have our access points hidden away in the cupboards here as well, and lots of our collaboration equipment as well. As we come through the bus, you're passing now through the waiting area and the initial treatment room. And as we keep coming through the bus, you're coming into now the first main treatment area. We can even put a bed in here if needed. And all of these rooms have the privacy glass, so full privacy for the patients, so they feel safe and secure in here. And as we keep coming through, now we're into the laboratory. So here we have all the facilities doctors might need, including a bank of refrigeration here. Oh, sorry, no ice creams in here today, but this is where all the medicines and the vaccinations are kept. Because what we found with the bus is often refugees coming over the border require either a COVID vaccination, or there's often children that require some of those first vaccinations that you need when you're very, very young, like measles. So we can administer those with the help of these fridges. And now, bring you into the final space, and Rob's here.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry, can't hear a thing. Just trying to self-diagnose just a little bit here.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
I think, just to test, because this was an issue later, that the studio can hear me, yes? Awesome. Okay. So I'm curious, in this room, so this is where you're seeing patients, you've got a privacy door, lights up to let people know they don't need to get in here. But
That's
really,
right.
you guys are specialized in the fact you're dealing with countries, obviously a refugee situation, you've got language issues and different challenges. I think you just spoke about some of that, but some of these tools here are set up specifically to deal with that. Can you explain what these are?
Absolutely, yes. And you're right. So many times the doctor and the patient don't speak the same language, and obviously that's a really big problem. But luckily our technology and combination with our partner can sort that out. So we've partnered with an organisation called SAVD. They offer a pool of linguists that are available just at a touch of a button via WebEx. They have over 700 of these people on hand, and in 26 languages those people can be available inside 2 minutes. So it's a very quick service, no one's kept waiting around too long, and then the doctor and the patient can have a perfect, clear conversation.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to remember one other thing, and I don't know if it's set up here, but you had this as an example of something that's in a language I cannot read. We can use this system also to help us translate?
Absolutely, yes. So when we phone in, yeah, I'll show that here. When we phone into the translators, obviously,
yeah,
they
I'm
can.
just gonna keep,
yeah, no problem. They can see what the patient brings in with them, and sometimes it might be a box of pills that they've run out of, and they need
medications. That makes complete sense.
Exactly, or they might even have a doctor's letter like this one down here, and the translation again can be used to help assist the doctor into what this means, and then the right drugs can be prescribed. The other thing that we can do is sometimes a second opinion might be needed. Obviously, this would be a bus filled with nurses and general practitioners, but what if there's a specific skin problem, for example, you need a dermatologist? Well, then we have another option where we can connect to a remote doctor for that second opinion or for that specialist advice. And we can do that right here, and we've had this demoing through this week at Cisco Live. I'll pop this up again.
A specific doctor. Is there someone there that we can talk to? Wow.
And
we have a live doctor. Look at that.
We do. This is Andreas. Hey, Andreas.
Hello. How are you
Just meet
doing?
me. He looks suspiciously like the guy I saw outside.
Hey, might be the
Yeah,
case.
Maybe it's just, well, a lot of doctors look alike, people say. That's incredible. So
Yeah.
we've got the translation capabilities in language and experts on demand. But what I love is, I think just the biggest thing is, how do you care for somebody if you can't speak their language and you want to lower their heart rate? You want to make things a bit easier on them, because I just think of the panic I have if I can't communicate how I feel, like I do when taking care of my animals. I'm like, how can they communicate with me? I wish I had the translator. Either way, guys, come check out the Metabus here in the far corner of the world of solutions. Very good people here doing very good things. With that, we'll go back to the studio.
Thank you so much, Rob. Really great to get a chance to take a look inside the Mediabus and see all the technology. We're going to now shift and return back to the topic of hybrid work. I'm joined back in the studio by Luke. So Luke, welcome back. And you are joined by Colin D. Ellis. So welcome, Colin. I'll leave it to you. I'm right here if you have any questions or anything, but take it away.
Great to be back. Colin, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you. Look, you work with leaders around the globe on the topic of culture, and also how to mold and build the culture around the hybrid work current environment. Could you share with us some of the challenges that you see with leaders as well as employees they face in the current hybrid work environment?
Yeah, when the pandemic first hit, Luke, what we had was equity of experience with regards to culture. All of a sudden, everybody was at home, and we were very good at rolling out technology. So we had the mechanisms to stay in touch. And the organizations that thrived during the pandemic were the ones that actually put time, thought, and effort into resetting their culture. They recognized that things had changed, things that were different. And so they reset their culture. They thought differently about how they would communicate and collaborate, and the behaviors they needed to demonstrate. Now, as we come back to the workplace, Luke, and we look to leverage some of the solutions that we see, is it almost needs another reset. And so I think the biggest challenge that most leaders face right now is how do we be deliberate about this thing called culture? For too long, it's been an unwritten agreement between leaders and employees. And now there really has to be thought given to, if we're not all going to be in the same place and there's going to be this inequity of experience, how do we make sure that people still feel that sense of belonging to their colleagues, and we know when to come together to get productive work done?
I see it in the market, because the interesting thing is people lead with technology, but in essence, you almost have to lead with the culture, and then technology enables that. I'm very interested to see what's the secret sauce. What are some of the necessary conditions to kind of get it right, both the culture, but also be able to operate effectively in the hybrid work?
It's a great question, Luke, because I think too many organizations suffer from waiting for the perfect conditions,
right.
And culture is pervasive. It's there all of the time. And what we need to make sure is that we're not waiting for this thing called culture. In the meantime, you're losing your good staff, or you're not leveraging all of the great technology that's there to enable hybrid working. And so for leaders, it's really a case of, hey, listen, we need to deal with this cultural issue right now in order to get the best from not only our people, but also from our technology. And so from a condition perspective, it's like now is always the right time to start working on culture.
That's fascinating, because I was just having an innovation talk, and that was exactly the message, the time is now. Don't wait. It takes time to get there, so the sooner you get on the journey, because it's here to stay. Now, the interesting thing is, where do you see the market going? Obviously, we talk about the culture maybe catching up with some of the technology, but where do you see the trends going in the near term, at least?
Well, I think, again, at the start of the pandemic, leaders were kind of caught in this place of, is the office gone? Do I sell off my real estate? Or else, are we going to come back full time? And I think there's still this almost, kind of dissonance to sort of say, what do we do? Where do we go? So I think future term, what leaders are looking, and certainly the organizations that I work with is, well, how do we best use that space? I think we're still some way away from kind of augmented reality in video. I think more desktop terminals with cameras inbuilt to reduce the amount of distraction, because we're still getting a lot of people who are getting distracted by their emails when they're on their calls. Luke, so I think leaders are going to look at, well, how can we leverage technology to ensure that we don't overwhelm people? Burnout's still one of the biggest issues we see in our workplace cultures. People just lack the discipline around their technology. And how do we, I guess, shift our workspaces to best suit the work that we need to do? Is it private, quiet work, or can we move our walls about and do more collaborative work? And so I think finding those solutions for better kind of office working is definitely something that we're looking
That's
at.
a great point of view, because a lot of people are chasing the next shiny object, hologram, VR, great, but you have to look at the starting point. Less than 10% collaboration rooms have actually video-enabled conference rooms. So start there and then think about the future, right, so to speak. If you were to wear a Cisco hat, what would be some of the guidance, advice you would give to Cisco? As we support you and the leaders, obviously, on this journey, what would be some of the things you will give us as a pointers?
Well, I still think that we make an assumption that everybody knows how to build culture. Luke, especially in the hybrid work, the way that we work has changed dramatically forever. You said this in your talk before. And I think, one of the things that Cisco needs to do, and every organization needs to do, is to teach its managers how to build and evolve positive hybrid working culture. Because only then are you able to retain that sense of belonging, retain that sense of what Cisco is about and what it's good at, and leverage the tools that you have at your disposal to improve productivity and make sure the products remain to the quality that they are right now.
Excellent. And in fact, we need to have more dialogue like this around culture, things that surround the technology. I think that's the piece that leaders want to hear as well. So I really appreciate the time today, opportunity to speak. I think we should continue the dialogue as we move forward.
Sounds great. Thanks, Luke.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Luke. Thank you to Colin as well. Really interesting perspectives, and thanks for bringing together the themes around, obviously, this being a technology show, but the people and culture piece is really critical. All right, we're now going to head out to a quick video. It's of Cedric wandering around the world of solutions in the event and speaking to some attendees. So let's take a look.
Let's try to stop someone here and see what they have to say. Oh, they're going. They can see I'm coming. Cisco? Live! Cisco? Live! If you think about Cisco Live, what are the 3 words that come to mind?
Oh, well, sustainability, that's the big one. People, connections, that's what this is all about.
Networking, engagement, having fun.
Fantastic, networking, great spirit.
New technology, security, zero trust ethic.
Collaboration, sustainability, partners.
Building knowledge, sharing knowledge.
Great to be back, meeting cool people. Inspiring, nice.
This is the first time we heard nice, and I like it.
Innovation. Innovation.
Innovation.
Innovation.
I would say innovation.
Inspiring.
Big.
Relationship.
Vibrant, diverse.
Fun. Food.
A lot of learning.
If you would have to convince your friends to come to Cisco Live next year, what would you tell them?
I'll tell them it's a great opportunity to get together with customers from all around the world, or at least Europe and Africa.
You can put 2 years of learning into a week.
Where else could you meet someone who's helping move along the mission to Mars than Cisco Live?
Get to know the latest and greatest in terms of IT.
You have many people with a lot of knowledge here, so you can really ask the question you are having.
How would you convince them to come to Cisco Live?
Just ask them, they will be here.
It has great people, great technology, and fantastic outcomes. You should come.
As you can see, everybody's really excited to be here at Cisco Live in Amsterdam. It gives you enough reason to come next year, so just make sure that you're all in and you're here.